Poetry? It's a hobby. I run model trains. Mr. Shaw there breeds pigeons. It's not work. You don't sweat.
This was the poet Basil Bunting. Thousands of English teenagers will be encouraged to learn by heart and recite classic works by the likes of Byron or Bunting under new plans designed to spark interest in poetry in schools. Poetry by Heart will see school champions fight through to regional tours, with the best performers competing in finals in London this April. The contest is the brainchild of Sir Andrew Motion, the former poet laureate. Together with poet Jean Sprackland, he has compiled an online anthology of 130 works, which spans over 600 years and caters to most tastes. Sprackland sees the competition as a way to remind students that poetry has a life and voice, as well as on the page.
I think a lot of older people have memories of learning poetry when they were at school. Often it's a rather positive experience which has left them with a sort of store of words in their head. But perhaps also learning poems had another side to it for some people, where they were not just encouraged to learn, but actually sort of made to learn things. And this competition is very much about bringing it back as a sort of thing that is full of life and enjoyment and fun and pleasure.
But while in England the tradition of memorizing poems is only starting to come back, in Russia it never went away. Anya Emmons was born in Russia and is about to start her studies at Oxford University. While growing up, she attended both Russian and British schools. It was the Russian literature curriculum that inspired Anya's love for poetry.
This summer, I took part in a competition in America. They gave you free rein over any poem of Marina Tsvetaeva. I took upon myself to translate «Мой день без Путина и не лет», and my version of that title is «My day is passless and absurd». The poor man all my pleas neglects, the rich man charity rejects, the needle doesn't fit my thread, the burglar enters without keys, the fool is crying on her knees over a day of pure regret.
Until recently, applicants to Moscow State University had to learn over 100 pieces of poetry to prepare for the admission essay. Points were awarded the students for using direct quotes in their essays, and these had to be absolutely perfect. But as Anya Emmons explains, until it's time to prepare for the finals, few pupils dedicate much effort to revising.
Before a literature lesson, typically you'd see 5 or 6 children with their books just frantically reading and rereading and doing this mumbling thing under their nose. And you have to stand up to recite it to the class as well. Sometimes you even go to the board. That's just torture. It makes for humorous situations in some cases, sometimes embarrassing. Sometimes very revealing. When you're reading the poetry aloud and trying to act it, you suddenly find that you're connecting with it in a different way.
Learning by rote is a key feature of the Russian education system. That includes mathematical formula, theorems, and scientific definitions, as well as poems. Olga Bramley, director of London School of Russian Language and Literature, says her students learn up to 12 poetry pieces every term.
We believe it's very good for memory development, for enriching vocabulary. We also believe that it helps the children to remember the Russian speech structure.
But this approach is not without its critics. Irina Mещерякова from the Moscow State University of Psychology and Education says there is no hard scientific evidence to prove positive effects of memorizing poems.
In this area, we do not have a lot of established scientific facts that undoubtedly prove the usefulness of learning by heart. I think it depends on individuality. Someone likes poetry and is fond of it, someone hates it. But I think that for everyone, it is possible to find some texts which he or she wishes to learn by heart.
Whether memorizing poetry is proven to help children's development or not, British poets are hoping their competition will get more young people reading poems. According to Jean Sprackland, over 300 schools have already signed up for the contest. This year, England became a testing ground for the new competition, but the organizers hope to offer it throughout the UK in the near future. And poetry reading seems to tie in well with plans to put more emphasis on learning and reciting poetry into the national curriculum.